Hi, my name's Ian from Las Vegas Scooters and Lifts. Today I am doing a lift install on this, I think it's a Hyundai. Yes, Santa Fe, Hyundai Santa Fe. Basically, I'm going to wire it up first and then put the lift on, swing away, and it should be done. So I'll probably put this on time lapse just to speed things up a little bit because it's pretty boring, but here we go. Okay, now the wiring's in place. Make sure not to do any brake pipes or fuel lines or any important bits under the car that the wire might get caught and pulled. So it's all to the frame and all the safety parts. So inside your bag from Harmar, you get your bolt kit, only a very few of the cable ties, and you get your hitch receiver, insert post, swing away if you've gone with that option, which I always recommend, because you always want to get into the back of the vehicle, or like as this vehicle is, it's got a spare tire under there you need to get access to, and having a lift in front of that makes it really difficult, if not impossible, to get out. Okay, so the next thing I've got to do is insert the receiver into the hitch and then get that bolted up. Then I can get the swing away and then the lift on, and then finish off the wiring, just make it so it's all tidy. So with the kit you get the standard hitch receiver that bolts to either the lift or the swing away, and also your bag of bolts. And they give you two extra smaller ones in case you have to use a drop down tube, but this vehicle doesn't need it. So on the bit that goes into the receiver, you've got your two bolts that go onto either the swing away or the hitch post, to the lift post, and then you've got your adjustable attachment pin holes there. I always recommend using their attachment kit to stop it from rocking left and right. When it's on the vehicle, if you use one of those standard pins, they just don't hold it, they just secure it in place but don't hold it in place. I always try and get it close to the vehicle as possible, but not that it's going to damage the vehicle. It's usually that it clears the bumper of the vehicle. And always facing upwards like that. You can do it upside down, but it's not recommended. If you have a higher vehicle you may get away with it, but you've got this slant there, that where the roller rolls up, and that support bracket there to give you more strength, more rigidity. Okay, now that's in, I'll put the bolt in. Okay, with the bolt kit you get that little silver collar there, and that holds this in place, holds the whole thing together. Goes inside the hole and that locks everything in place, and then put your 3/4, sorry, nylon thread knot there, just to hold it and tighten it down. and that holds this in place and stops it from rattling like that. Okay, we've got that tightened up, no movement now. Keeps it nice and secure so they don't go rattling. You can hear that in the car. So it's all nicely nipped up tight. Time for the swing away. Okay, with the swing away out of the box, you have these few warning labels on there. That's just the adjustment bolt for the closing mechanism of the swing away. You shouldn't have to alter that, it should be set at factory. But if you do, just loosen that securing nut at the back there, and then just adjust it to whatever you need. But like I say, you don't need to alter that. At the bottom there you have like four bolt holes that go into those two, so you can adjust the height a little bit, not a lot. And then you have your 3 adjustment bolt holes there for the lift to go onto this car. So again, it's 3/4 inch bolts. They do supply washers with this, as well as your power connector, and which I always do last. Planes are coming in hot and fast, so I always wire it up and take the fuse out and then connect that end so we don't get any shorts or fuse blowing. Always take the fuse out, wire it up, and then put the end cap on, then put the fuse in. You should be golden, should be good to go. So let me get this swing away on and move on to the lift. Just a better look at what they give you in the packet for bolts. That's your bolt and the 2 big washers for, doesn't matter, they're all the same, but apart from the washers are bigger. That's for the lift, for the pivot point, and these are the 2 bolts and 2 washers, 2 nuts for the attachment onto this bit, sorry, from there to here. That's what I'm going to do next. Okay, I've just put the bolts in. Just a little note that these holes in this post are actually threaded, so it gives you a secondary safety measure. If these nuts do actually back off and fall off, it's still going to stay in place because of the thread. Let's put the nuts on and tighten her up. Okay, nuts are on and tight. We've got 2 safety features on these swing away. If you do break this, the unlock handle, if that comes unlocked or whatever, you've got a safety pin there, secondary measure to stop that swinging away. And even if you do leave the safety pin out, as long as this is working in good order, it still won't move until you pull that pin, and that opens the swing away like so. Never operate these swing aways with something on the lift, just the lift alone, otherwise you'll sprain this point and it'll never shut correctly. I had that happen on one of mine. It was a used one and it was spraying out forever, having to lift it up to get it into this piece here. When it shuts, it should shut nice and easy. Okay, next thing is take the license plate off the vehicle. I'm not going to show that. And then put the lift on, put the license plate on. The scooter's in the back of the car. Put the scooter on, measure the lockdown arm, which is that bit just there with the white paper on it. And there's the mechanism there. I'll show you all that when I put the lift on. But I'll show you the easy way to put this on. Okay, now I've got the lift pretty much situated. You line it up with the post on the swing away to this part here. You also have to assemble this piece, adjust it to whichever wheel size you've got for a scooter. Make sure the cable's out of the way, it doesn't get trapped in any of this mechanism when you do the next piece, which is lift this up, offer it up to that post. Just make sure it's in line, which is pretty much good enough. And the next thing is to wire it up. Put the other connector on that end over there with the white next to the cutters, with that white piece of covering, with that black thing there next to the wrench. Wire it up to that, make sure you get it the right way round, so otherwise it'll be going down when it's up and up when it's down. So red to red, black to black, simple as that. The other 2 wires are for your license plate light, which is that silver thing just there. I'll show you that when I take that cover off. Okay, the way to get this right, if I can show you one-handed, is that's the clip. There's a little notch at the top there. I always offer it up, so that way I know I'm going to wire it right. Can't do it one-handed. That way, you know, it's clipped in the right way round. You've got red and black. I have done that wrong before. There's the other end of the 2 pins that go in those 2 holes there. Okay, with the wires in, they just push in, got weather covers at the end, and then just click that down, and then click that together. That's now wired up, ready to put the fuse in, and then this red light should come on, which is a warning light. It just comes on when the power's on to the left. Okay, this is your fuse. It goes in that little holder there that comes with the kit. This is a resetting fuse, so if there's a quick short, it'll trip the fuse and then reset. But if there's a constant trip, it'll trip and won't work. Okay, fuse is in. So if you ever do install these yourself, just watch out for these. These are your main brain on this vehicle. It's same on the Volkswagens. This is your ECU. Just be careful if you're tightening anything up, any metal on metal. Especially if you're messing around with a positive and you catch that, you could be in for an expensive repair bill for an ECU, because for some reason they wanted to leave it all exposed like that, which is crazy. Okay, back round to the lift. As you can see now, that fuse is in, the light's on. I'll remove that cover now. Throw that way. Here's your operation, up and down, key to turn it on and off, there and there. You get 2 keys as normal. You also get your screws to put your plate in. These screws you don't need to bother, that's to take it off the mast and remove this plastic cover. But, now what I do, put the lift on the floor like that and use the lift as a jack. Move the wire out of the way so it doesn't get trapped. Use the lift, wait for that plane to go by. Instead of trying to manhandle the lift, use the lift on the floor, press down, and that raises the lift. So you can then guide it into the hole. And this way you know the lift will reach the ground. So you get it pretty much level where you want it to be. I'll put it into this first hole, you maybe reach the second. Yeah, I'll put it up a bit higher, so it's usually that's the middle hole I go for, only unless it's a higher vehicle that I'll go for the bottom one. And basically just slide the lift back and then insert your bolt and 2 washers into that hole, and that secures the lift. And you don't need to tighten that up too tight because it pivots on this bolt. It's only there as a pivot, but not too tight that it won't pivot and cause you problems, but not too loose that it's slopping around. Okay, so the pivot bolt's in, tightened up. Now I can operate the lift and bring it up. Right. Then watch your wiring, because I haven't finished all the iron yet. See how it pivots back on that roller there. So it pivots back on there. And it goes into, because there's nothing on the lift, it will fold up. Okay, that clicking. That's when you need to stop. That's in its folded position. As you can see, it's nice and streamlined. It's only about 18-20 inches away from the vehicle, so it's not too bad. And then, like I said, to operate, you swing away, pull your pin, pull the blue lever. It's really nice and easy to swing the lift. And there you go. You've got to stop just there to stop the lift from swinging too far. It's pretty close to the vehicle, but it's not touching, and that gives you access to your vehicle, which I'll now do is attach the wiring and make sure it swings away with the wiring in place. You do have to be careful with exhaust outlets, which is this one's going to maybe a bit of a pain in the butt, but you can't really get around it. You can't move the exhaust, so I'm going to have to wire it on this side and then go over and around the top, just to protect the wire from this exhaust heat. And same when you install the wiring, to keep away from any moving parts like drivetrains, especially four-wheel drive, and any kind of exhaust or things like that, where sometimes you get an exhaust on both sides, and that's even worse, twice as many pain in the you know what's to get around. But this one was quite simple, so I'll get this wire tidied up and tied up so it's all neat and tidy. Well, excuse me if there's any wind noise, but final thing is to adjust this, that it's tight enough to hold the scooter in place, but not too tight that you break the plastic shroud. It should hold it in place without any problems. This has got a battery lock on it, so that holds the battery down, that won't pop off. This also has a lock on it, so this doesn't need to be removed or tied down with anything, but some scooters don't have that feature, don't have a battery lock to lock it in place, or a seat lock. So we always recommend put a bungee cord or some way of holding those down. You don't want to lose your battery or your seat, you don't want to replace those. And like I said, you just need to adjust the height of this and tighten it down enough that it holds the scooter in place but doesn't crack the bottom shroud. The last thing you need is replacing the shroud. But that's that done. All I've got to do is put the license plate on and then call the customer till it's done. But like I said, don't ever swing it away with the scooter on the platform. Always swing it away with it off the platform, otherwise you'll sprain your swing away. It's too expensive to replace. 2 keys. Basically put your key in, turn it on, press it down for down, simple as that. The lockdown arm then releases, all automatic. Tilt back, tilt forward, down to the ground. This version of the Harmar, this is the AL100. Sorry for the wind if you can hear it. This is the AL100, and the AL100 has the lockdown arm just there. The AL300 doesn't have that, it's for power wheelchairs. It's the same lift, 350 pound lifting capacity. It just doesn't have the lockdown arm. It has the securement straps on each corner to secure your power chair onto the platform, whereas this is a scooter one. The back wheels go in the cradle and then the arm locks it into place. That's the Harmar AL100 lift. Just on a finishing note with these lifts, always advise the customer to slow down over any railroad tracks, speed bumps or anything like that you can see the roads a bit bumpy. They do bounce a little bit. These aren't so bad. The Prides used to bounce like crazy, but we always warn them, just take your time, don't speed, don't go too excessively fast over any sort of speed bumps, railroad tracks, that sort of thing. Otherwise you'll panic a little bit watching these bounce, but these are not too bad. Also, don't go through any car washes that have the brushes. Always hands-free, or get somebody to wash your car for you. If you do go through a car wash, excuse the plane, it's windy and the jets are having to power up a bit to land. Anyway, yeah, if you do go through a car wash and get the brushes tangled up in this lift, having an expensive fix for the car wash place. So always get it hand washed. So, and just be careful reversing. You have obviously got another 4 or 5 feet sticking out the back of the car now because of the lift, but it's better than having to break the scooter down and put it in the car every time. You just press a button and it lowers and raises and loads the scooter for you. A lot more convenient if your health suffers with standing for prolonged times and having to lift heavy items. But yep, just watch your reversing, no speed bumps, and watch out for your car washers. Hope you found this interesting, and if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you.